close calls and deciding who gets a citation.
Now, those are the key components in what has been a controversial law enforcement across the nation. News4Jax investigates red light cameras 1 year later. It's controversial equipment with concerns including should technology be responsible for moving violations?
And do the cameras really make us safer, or are they just another source of money for police agencies? Channel 4's Kent Justice joining us with a never-before-seen look inside the room where the decision is made by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office whether or not to cite a driver or let them go. Kent.
Joy and Rob, will tell you what, this intersection right here is Beach and University, and over my shoulder you can see one of the red light cameras. It's operating. We saw the flash just a few moments ago as following the storm that blew through, a car blew through a red light right here. So we asked for and we were granted access to JSO's Center for Red Light Camera Review. We are also getting a peek inside the sheriff's passion for preventing collisions and trying to make intersections safer. For John Rutherford, this seems pretty personal. The photos and videos seem to speak for themselves.
You know, there's an old saying, you can be right and be dead right.
It's personal for the top cop in Jacksonville. Sheriff John Rutherford spent years on the street and working traffic calls, including deadly wrecks like these. And that's one of the reasons he believes in the red light cameras installed across Jacksonville, now fully active for more than a year.
The vehicle's doing 23 miles an hour. It's been read for 1.12 seconds. That vehicle, second vehicle.
Video after video shows scenes from the red light camera intersections around the city.
It's in the intersection and the light is red.
Formally, this is called the Traffic Infraction Enforcement Unit, and it's been off limits to cameras until now. 3 officers working at the time we visited, all reviewing photos and videos of red light intersection infractions.
Yeah, look at that. Ooh, start sliding.
Not all the incidents flowing through the red flex system will turn into notices of violation. But several we looked at show why officers approve the next step of the enforcement process. And Sheriff Rutherford wants to make clear, real people, real police officers make the call on what's a violation and what isn't. So police officers, do they make the decision based on the same factors they would if they were out on the street in their cruiser, watching it happen right in front of them rather than looking on a video screen?
Absolutely. They go through the same process. Actually, though, it's easier with the red flex system to determine whether somebody ran a red light or not, because I can freeze it at a certain point and see the light's red, the wheels are behind the intersection, the entrance to the intersection, so I know that's a violation.
Not everyone who formally runs a red light gets a notice of violation. No notice goes out to people who turn right on red, for instance. Rutherford, though, says there's also a degree of forgiveness offered based on a judgment call.
In fact, let me tell you, some of those that come to us as violations, and this is another reason some of these get rejected, an individual slides to a stop, but they go, into the intersection, but not through the intersection. There's no damage, they don't hit anybody, they don't hit anything, and they back up. We don't write that citation.
Rutherford's office posts a red light runner of the week on social media. This example shows a car rip through the west side intersection of 103rd and Ricker 3 seconds after the light turns red and nearly slams into a turning vehicle. The point? To show drivers who aren't running red lights what should worry them. Rutherford took home photos of deadly accidents, showing them to his children when they were young drivers.
I wanted to teach them the importance of driving defensively, and I think that's what this program does. I was glad they came up with the idea.
Does red light camera monitoring save lives? Rutherford says all the evidence on collisions isn't in, but he looks at a sharp decline in violations at the first 18 approaches that went live in Jacksonville, dropping from 3,200 to fewer than 1,000.
How anybody could look at that and not say that those intersections are safer with 2,000 fewer violations, clearly it's safer. It has to be, because you have 2,000 fewer violations taking place, and that's a direct result of that camera being there and changing folks' behavior.
Well, to put some of the numbers in perspective, for 40 red light cameras in Jacksonville in November 2014, there were 4,921 total incidents processed through the unit that we just showed you. Of those, 2,622 were not approved for a notice of violation, essentially tossed out. 2,299 notices were issued to the drivers. And you might recall, the fine if you run a red light is $158. So how does that all add up? We asked about that, and from July 1st of 2013, the next year, through June 30th of 2014, the city netted $260,881. That money went into the city's general fund. That, of course, is used for city budget, all the expenses, which include funding the sheriff's office as well. Live, Kent Justice, Channel 4, the local station.
So, Kent, there have been legal challenges in other parts of the state to throw red light camera citations out. Could the same argument apply here?
Well, we looked at that, and since police officers in Jacksonville actually make the decision, it seems unlikely that the same arguments would hold up. There's, of course, in case a legal challenge in Hollywood, Florida, for example, where what was at issue is they complained that the decisions were made by a third-party monitoring service instead of actual police officers. That's what Sheriff Rutherford, I should say, says is different about his enforcement unit here. Joy?
Kent Justice reporting live tonight. Thank you for that investigation. Folks, to see videos featuring red light runners of the week and learn more about the red light camera program, along with a breakdown of